Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. If you're lying down, please stay where you are. We're going to start in a supported Shavasana. You all look really good. You can have that bolster underneath your knees. It can be behind your spine. A folded blanket is also nice across the abdomen to ground the body, or you can have a blanket underneath your head for like a little pillow. Really just whatever feels good for you today. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. It's a rainy afternoon, a cozy day to do some yoga. My name's April, if we haven't met yet, and I'm going to be subbing for Lisa today. And so yeah, just take a few rounds of breath here to begin to arrive into your body, arrive into the space, and arrive into your breath. Allow your exhalations to be just a little bit longer than your inhalations as we start practice. So if you have a 4-count inhalation, take a 6-count exhalation. You can extend them longer as well if that feels comfortable. And as you settle into this breath, just take a quick little scan of your body, starting with the toes. Excuse me, and gradually working your awareness up to the crown of your head, but take it slow. Start to move through each little corner and crevice of your body. Just noticing and checking in, feeling into what you have to work with today, what sort of information and sensations your body is communicating to you. Once you come across any areas that feel tight or tender or even sore this afternoon, send some extra awareness, extra love, maybe breath into those areas. And try to keep your awareness alive as we start to move through our practice, being extra careful and tender with those areas. Our bodies have this very intricate intelligence and wisdom. And one of the ways that our bodies communicate that intelligence and that wisdom to us is through its own language, right? Its language is sensation, vibration, feeling. It doesn't exactly communicate in words, but there's a dialogue happening there between your mind and your body, your breath and your body. And so I invite you today, this afternoon, during our practice, to really tune into that conversation that your body is having with you. Really tune into what your body is messaging to you, the wisdom, the intelligence, maybe even the protection that it's sending to you. When we feel pain, even that's a way of communicating, right? And especially in a slower practice, like we will be practicing today, we can really begin to tap into that. We have the time to listen, to digest, and to respond. And just as a reminder, I'm here to offer suggestions, guidance, support for your practice. But you know your body best, your body knows you best. And so you always have the invitation to do what feels best for you today, even if that's completely different from what we're doing in practice. more rounds of breath here. And as you feel ready, start to reawaken your body. Just some really gentle, sweet movements, starting with fingers, toes. Yeah, you can take some circles with the wrists and the ankles. Just feel into that sensation. How does that feel? What comes up? What starts to move within the body? And then if it feels good, you can reach your arms up and overhead. Take a stretch, reaching from your fingers all the way down to your toes. And a deep breath in here. And a releasing breath out through your mouth. And then gather your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. You can take some little circles with your knees in either direction. And then let's release the feet down to the bolster so your knees are bent. And then using your feet, just kind of push the bolster down towards the end of your mat. Yeah. And then we're going to come into a supported bridge shape from here. So grab for one of your blocks. And then, bend your knees. Bring the soles of your feet to the floor. Heels can come a couple of inches in front of your sitting bone, just so your fingertips can touch them as you reach down. And then we'll gently lift our hips, just enough to slide the block underneath the low back, the very low back, the sacrum. And it can be at any height. I would suggest the middle height or the lowest height for today's practice, whatever feels most supportive for you. And if at any point this does not feel comfortable, we will stay for a couple of minutes. You can also use your bolster instead of the block. And then just really rest the weight of your body onto the block. Start to kind of surrender into gravity, still keeping the integrity of the shape, so the knees are still bent and pointing up towards the ceiling. And then you can kind of tuck your shoulder blades underneath your back body just to open up your heart and your shoulders. And then if this feels comfortable here, you can stay, or you can explore some different shapes with your legs. So one option is to extend your legs out long, and that's going to be a little bit more intense of a stretch in the front line of the body, but that can be a lot for the low back. So if it's too much, just rebend your knees. And another nice option here is to lift the feet and extend your legs up towards the ceiling. So like a supported legs up the wall or a supported shoulder stand. And then stay with that full and complete breath. And again, tap in, tune in to the body's language, the body's conversation. What sort of sensations are you feeling here? And pay extra special attention to any sensations that might be telling you to back off. So that would look like pain or tension, tightness. And then there might also be some sensations of openness, spaciousness, maybe inviting something deeper or even inviting some movement. So if you have your legs up towards the ceiling, you can explore flexing and pointing the feet. You can also explore circling out the ankles a couple times in either direction. Be here for 2 to 3 more rounds of breath. Just take it slow and steady, really smooth breaths in and out through your nose. And And as you feel ready, you can gently release your feet first if they're legs at the wall. And if you've extended your legs, bend your knees. So we'll meet back in that supported bridge shape. And then eventually you can go ahead and lift your hips up off the block. Go ahead and move the block to the side and release your hips down to the earth. And then we'll take our feet wide, like as wide as the mat, so that your knees can knock together. Hands can rest onto the belly, on the low belly, or one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And then we'll just gently, slowly sway the knees side to side. And the next time that your knees fall to your right, go ahead and let them stay there. So it's sort of like a wide open twist. You can extend your arms out to the sides into a T shape or a cactus shape, or sometimes it feels good just to reach your arms up and overhead. And then turn your gaze in any direction that feels comfortable on your neck. It can stay up towards the ceiling or turn to one side. And if you want a little bit more sensation in this pose, you can stack your right ankle to the outside of your left knee. So it's sort of pulling the left knee down. This will be a deeper stretch in the left side of your body, the left side of your hip rather. And then again, take your awareness inward and just feel into sensation. What sort of messages is your body delivering? And how can you show up and respond to that message, that sensation, in a way that would be supportive? And then you might even begin to breathe into that sensation. So it's just a visualization of the breath moving down into, maybe it's the left hip or the left thigh. And just visualizing that breath, the prana, the life force, creating a little bit more space for the body to open and receive, and washing away any tension, any soreness, any resistance. And then you might even notice that this conversation in the body changes and shifts over time. After a minute or two, your body starts to relax a little bit, or maybe the opposite. It might start to resist, and then the mind begins to get involved. And then it's sort of this dance, right, between the body and the mind. It's up to you to discern, is it really the body speaking to me right now, or is this something that my mind is coming up with? And there's no wrong answer. It's just getting in touch with ourselves and building that body awareness. The more that we practice, the more natural it becomes. Just another round of breath or two in this shape. And then when you feel ready, if you have your right ankle over your left knee, you can go ahead and unhook that and come back to center. And then once again, we'll gather knees into chest and circle out the knees a couple times in one direction and then the other, and just notice the difference between one side and the other. And then you can release your feet back down when you're ready. Again, we'll take them wide of the mat, and then let your knees fall together. And then a couple times, let them sway side to side. And then when they come to your left, we'll let them stay there. So same options here. You can find a variation with your arms that feels good. It can be different than before. It can be the same. And then if you explored bringing your ankle over the outside of your knee, you can do that on this side. This time it'll be left ankle to outside of right knee. And just notice that might be different, right? So ideally in yoga, we try to create balance. We attempt to do the same thing on both sides, but As we all know, the bodies are not, or the both sides of the body are not always equal, right? So one side is generally more open than the other. And so you don't have to force anything just to match the other side. It might look completely different. It might feel completely different, and that's perfectly okay. You can even notice here how the breath shifts as the sensation shifts, right? The body not only talks to the mind, but the breath is sort of a mirror or an echo of what the body's feeling, how the mind is interpreting it. And sometimes we sort of a middleman between the two. They're all linked, right? So when something shifts with the body, the breath and the mind is likely going to feel it in some way, respond in some way. And the invitation today is to just really get curious about this. It'll be really fascinating when we really start to pay attention. A couple more rounds of breath on this side. Ready, unhook your foot if you have it and bring your knees back to center. And you can hug your knees into your chest and circle them out, or you can have your feet wide and take that windshield wiper variation, rocking the knees side to side. Be sure to take a couple of deep rounds of breath, whichever direction that you go. And then when you feel complete, we'll roll to the right or the left, either side, and do sort of a fetal position. And then with the help of your hands, go ahead and rise up and come to a seat. Take your time, move slowly. And we'll take a few movements here, and so I would suggest sitting up onto something. You could sit on a folded blanket, even a block or your bolster, just to elevate your hips and give yourself a little bit more space there. Yeah, and you can cross your legs if that feels comfortable. If that's not comfortable, you can have your legs extended or even folded back behind you. And then we'll bring hands to the knees and just try to take some big circles with the torso. Just move really slow to start. Just starting that exploration, getting curious, noticing what this feels like, what's opened or shifted since we've started to move and open our body. And if you find any interesting areas, maybe stay there and explore a little bit. And then continue along your journey as you feel ready. If you haven't already, go ahead and change directions, moving the opposite way. And once you feel balanced and complete, come on back to center. And then inhale, extend your arms up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, release your left hand down to the earth and reach your right arm up and over for a side bend. Yeah, the left hand can slide out as far as it wants to slide. Just try to keep your right sitting bone grounded on the earth or the prop that you're sitting on. And then as you extend through your right fingertips, just gently tuck your right shoulder blade towards your left to get a little bit of an opening in the right side of your heart. Yeah, and then your ear can drop down towards your shoulder if it feels tense. You can also explore dropping your chin down towards your chest, or even just taking some movement between the two. So rotating the chin and the head. And then with an inhalation, rise back through the center, both arms to the sky. As you exhale, release the right hand down, left arm reaches up and over this time. Slide your right hand out to the right as far as you would like to go, then re-root through your left sitting bone as you reach through the left fingertips. And then it's that very gentle tuck of the left shoulder blade towards the right, so it's a very subtle opening of the left side of the heart. And see if you can breathe into the left ribs, leaving the breath in between the ribs. Again, do what you would like with your head, your chin, your neck. And then inhale, we'll come back to center, both arms to the sky. As you exhale, left hand back behind you this time, right hand to the left knee for a twist. And as you inhale, you can lengthen up through the spine, sit up tall. And as you exhale, turn a little deeper into your twist, gazing over your left shoulder. And just continue like that with the breath, inhaling to find space, length, lift, and exhaling to turn, twist, and deepen. Your next inhalation, unwind your twist. Come on back to center. We'll take that to the other side. So right hand back behind you, left hand to the right knee. And just moving with breath. Very gentle, subtle movements. With your next inhalation, we'll unwind, come on back to center, both arms high, and then exhale, release your hands down. Just change the cross of your legs if your legs are crossed. And then we'll inhale, reach our arms back up to the sky. And as you exhale, we're just gonna fold forward any amount. So it might be more upright, or you might start to crawl your hands forward. And just, relax your head down towards the earth. Try to keep both sitting bones grounded on the earth or the prop that you're on. And then you might explore some movement with your head here, rotating side to side, working out any tension in the neck. And breathe really deeply now into the back body. So really expand into the back ribs as you breathe in. And just feel that settling and softening, everything letting go as you breathe out. And with your next inhalation, crawl your hands back towards you, make your way upright, and then come on forward to hands and knees to a tabletop position. And if you'd like, pad your knees with your blanket. We'll be here for a few poses. Make sure that you're supported and comfortable. Once you arrive in hands and knees, spread your fingers wide, press down into your fingertips, and then just start to take any natural movement that your body wants here. So you can take some circles with the hips, some cat-cow movements, whatever you want. Just really trust that your body knows what it needs. Try not to think too much into it, and sometimes it feels good even to close down the eyes and just allow it to happen. And make your way back to tabletop position, hands and knees. Let's inhale to a cow pose. Drop your belly, lift your gaze and your tailbone. As you exhale, curl and round the spine and release your hips to your heels, sort of like a child's pose variation with narrow knees. And then we'll inhale up to kneeling on the knees. Reach your arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, cactus the elbows and lean back into the space behind you for a little baby back bend. Hug your navel to your spine to support your low back. And then we'll inhale back up to the sky, hands that is. Exhale, release your hands, release your hips to your heels for that child's pose variation. Inhale, look forward and step your right foot forward in between your hands, so like a little baby low lunge. Lengthen through your spine, reach your heart forward. And then we'll step right back, right foot back, hips to heels to that child's pose variation. Inhale to look forward, step your left foot forward in between your hands, same thing, lengthen the spine, heart forward. And then exhale to step it back, release hips to heels to that child's pose variation. And like that, we'll inhale to all fours first, and then cow pose. Drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, curling around the spine like cat, and then release your hips to your heels. Inhale to rise up to kneeling on your knees, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, cactus the elbows, lean back, baby back bend. Inhale, rise back up, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hands to the earth, hips to heels, forehead to earth. Inhale, gaze forward, step your right foot forward, little baby low lunge. And exhale, step it back, release hips to heels. Inhale, look forward, left foot forward in between the hands, lengthen through the spine. Exhale to step it back, release hips to heels. Let's take that one more time through. So inhale back to tabletop, and then we'll go straight into cow pose. Drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, curling around the spine, hips to heels, child's pose. Inhale to rise up to kneeling, reach your arms up, gaze up. Exhale, cactus the elbows, baby back bend, open up the heart. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale to release, back to child's pose. Inhale to gaze forward, right foot forward, little baby low lunge, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, step it back, release hips to heels, release. And then again, inhale, look forward, left foot forward this time, low lunge. And then exhale to step it back, release hips to heels, and we'll stay this time in child's pose, and you can take your knees wider for a more traditional variation of child's pose. Just let it be comfortable. Let your shoulders relax, let your arms become heavy. And take a couple deep rounds of breath here, tune back in. Notice what shifted in the conversation of the body as you've begun to move a little quicker and stir up some energy. Good. When you feel ready, rise back up to tabletop position. And then we're just for a transition going to come up into downward facing dog, and then you can just start to walk your feet forward. So you come into a forward fold at the top of your space. And we'll take our feet nice and wide for this first forward fold, so in hip width distance or even wider. Bend your knees a lot, so much so that your belly can just rest right on top of your thighs. And then relax your head, neck, and torso. Shake your head yes, shake it no. And if you'd like, you can grab for your elbows and sway gently side to side for a ragdoll. You can also just let the arms dangle. Good, and then release the elbows if you've got them, and we'll inhale to a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. So lengthen your spine forward, or your heart forward rather. Hug your navel up and in towards your spine. And then keep that and bow back forward into your forward fold. We'll take that again with the breath. So inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Once more, inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bow. Ground down into the soles of both of your feet. Spread your toes nice and wide. And then as you inhale, we're going to rise up to stand, just rounding through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Eventually, let's reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. And gather them in. You can close down your eyes or bring a soft gaze down towards the floor. Just tune back in, come back to your breathing, and reignite your breath in and out through the nose, nice and full and deep. And for this part of practice, see if you can find a balanced, equal breath. So if it's a 4-count inhalation, it's a 4-count exhalation. And blink your eyes open, and you're inhaling, arms up to the sky. As you exhale, release your left hand down by your left side and reach your right arm up and over. Press down into the sole of your right foot, extend through the right fingertips, and same thing we did seated. Tuck your right shoulder blade a little bit towards your left, so it's a very subtle movement to open up the right side of the heart. Good, and then inhale back to center, and switch it out. Right arm releases, left arm reaches. Ground down into the sole of your left foot. Very gently tuck your left shoulder blade back towards your right. And then with an inhalation, rise back through to center. As you exhale, take your right arm back behind you, left arm forward for an open arm twist. Oops, I said that wrong. That's fine, we'll go that way. Yeah, and then see if you can square your hips to the front. Yeah, so we're taking the twist just from the upper body. And then inhale back to center, and then opposite side. Good, again, re-square the hips to the front. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale back to center, both arms to the sky. Soften your knees here, and then cactus the elbows. We'll take that same baby back bend. Really hug navel to spine and really squeeze shoulder blades together and see if you can lift them up, almost like you're lifting up the back of your heart. Inhale to reach back up, Tadasana. Exhale, hands through heart center, fold forward, Uttanasana. Now bend your knees so much this time that you can grab onto the big toes with your index and middle fingers. So again, belly can rest right onto the thigh here, thighs. And then as you have your grip on your big toes, lengthen to just a little baby quarter lift. So reach your heart forward. And then keeping your spine long, bring your elbows out to the sides, bend the elbows and fold forward any amount. Relax your head, relax your jaw. Just allow the crown of your head to droop down towards the earth. Your legs can be generously bent here still. Good, and then release the grip of your big toes. Inhale once more to that halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale to bow forward and step your feet back. Come to a downward facing dog pose. You can take a child's pose if you prefer. We'll stay here for a couple rounds of breath this time. So you can pedal out the feet side to side, bending one knee at a time. And then come to stillness and press your hands down and away energetically. So it starts to lift your hips up and back, yeah, and lengthen through the side bodies. You've got it. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. With your inhalation, come forward into a plank pose. And then we're going to lower down to the knees first. Hug the elbows in and lower all the way down to your chest and chin. And then eventually slide forward so that your pelvis is all the way down. So let's bring the hands wide off of our mat and come up onto your fingertips. And then roll your shoulders back onto your back. Inhale, lift up through the heart, so like an assisted cobra pose. And then as you exhale, dip your right shoulder to center and gaze over your left. Good. Inhale back to center. And opposite side, dip the left shoulder, gaze over right. Inhale to center. Let's do that again. Exhale. Inhale to center. And exhale. Inhale to center, exhale all the way down, and bring your arms by your sides, bring one cheek to the mat, and just allow the body to relax completely here. If you'd like a little release for the low back, just gently sway your hips side to side, and just allow a couple rounds of breath to wash through the body, washing away any tension, resistance, soreness. Still acknowledging all of those sensations, not trying to push them away. And now bring your gaze down towards your mat. And then we're going to come back up onto the fingertips. Same thing here with elbow tips pointing up towards the sky. This time we're just going to come up to center. Inhale, lift the chest, press down into the tops of your feet. And exhale, lengthen as you lower, forehead to earth. Again, inhale, rise up. And exhale, lower. Once more, inhale, rise up, shoulders back. Exhale, lower. Take the opposite cheek to the mat this time, arms down by the sides. Again, you can sway your hips side to side, or you can bend your knees and sway your feet side to side. Just breathe deeply. Ready, release your feet down, bring your gaze down towards the earth, hands underneath your shoulders, and press yourself up into a tabletop. And eventually you can just kind of sit back onto your heels and we'll get into our next pose. So grab your bolster and bring it out in front of you. And then we're going to bring both of our knees to the right so that your right hip is up against the bolster. And then we're going to take this into a twist. So we're going to turn towards the bolster and just start to crawl forward to rest our belly on the bolster. And you'll want to take one cheek to the mat. So if you want less sensation in this twist, you'll turn your head towards your knees. If you want more sensation, you can turn your head away from the knees. And if you need more support, if it's not quite enough, you can also bring a blanket on top of your bolster for a little bit more height. You can also create sort of like a pillow there, the blanket. And I'm going to walk around and offer some hands-on assists as you relax in this pose. But if you prefer to keep your practice internal and not be touched today, just raise a hand so I can see it, please. Thank you. So just let your body relax here. Just allow your body to just be held by the bolster underneath you. And really tune in. If your body is feeling uncomfortable, can't quite relax, it might mean that there's some adjustments needed. So please just try to get a position, or maybe add some additional props. A few more rounds of breath on this side. So you feel ready, just move very slowly and start to lift yourself up off the bolster with the help of your hands. And then we'll take a moment in between sides. Come back to tabletop position and take some movement here. So you can take some cat-cow movements or sway the hips side to side or take the circles. And enjoy a couple of deep, nourishing breaths here. Feel free to exhale out through the mouth just to release. And when you feel ready, move to the other side. So this time we'll bring our knees to the left, so the left hip is towards the bolster. And then again, we'll want to twist the torso towards the bolster before lowering down, so that your belly is on the bolster, at least part of the belly. And then just explore this side, it might be different again. And so really try to meet your body where it is, not pushing beyond the edges. Just finding a sweet spot where you can relax. Where the body's not resisting. The body's not necessarily talking. Notice your breathing. If you lost your connection to it, invite it back in. Very slowly, as you feel ready, and start to prop yourself back up, and then turn towards your bolster. Move it out of your way. We'll come again back to hands and knees, and just take some neutralizing movements, deep breaths. Next pose is a simple supported back bend. So we're going to use our blanket. So you want to unfold it to this shape. So once unfolded, and then we're going to roll it up into a roll. And then we're going to place this lengthwise about a third of the way down our mat. So my back will be to this, to the blanket, and then I'm also going to take the bolster underneath my knees. So what this is going to look like is I'm going to lay back onto the blanket. The bottoms of my shoulder blades will be on the blanket, so the blanket's like in my mid-back. And then my shoulders are all the way down on the floor. And then you can extend your arms out to the sides. This can be intense, so if it feels like too much, you can have a flatter blanket by just folding it, like so. So just, feel into it, try it out, see how it works for you, and if your body's like, no, thank you, then just know that you have options. And you're also welcome to wave me down at any point if you're feeling uncomfortable or awkward in any of these poses, and I can come over and help. Yeah, and then arms can be either out to the sides, or you can, again, explore. You can take a T shape with the arms. You can reach your arms up and overhead. That might make things more intense. So just tune in, see what the body's saying. Our yoga practice is like a vehicle to allow us to carry and understand the language of the body. It gives us this opportunity to bring our awareness inward and really listen in, when oftentimes we are not listening, right? Our body's giving us signal after signal, and sometimes it takes illness or injury or big changes in our body for us to notice. But in yoga, we get a little bit more in touch with our body. We turn our awareness inward and we start to really listen. We open our ears up to that wisdom that the body is communicating. I mean, we might catch on to something that we've maybe missed before. And the interesting thing about this practice is the body is always changing. This body that you woke up in today is probably just a little different than the body you showed up with yesterday and the day before. And so it doesn't ever get boring, right? That conversation is always changing, just like the world around us. Rounds of breath in the shape. When you feel ready, you can bring your knees into your chest first and then roll to one side into sort of a fetal position, just so that you can remove that blanket from underneath you. You can just slide it off to the side so it's out of your way. And then eventually we'll roll back onto our back. So we're flat on the mat this time, and you can hug your knees into your chest. Circle out your knees a couple times in either direction and take a couple deep rounds of breath. Especially breathe into the back body. And then bring your feet to your bolster. Again, we'll just push it forward so it's out of your way so you can extend your legs freely. And then keeping your left leg extended, reach your right leg up towards the sky. Interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. Just take a couple of rotations of the right foot in one direction and then the other. You can point and flex the foot a couple of times. And then draw your right knee in towards your chest, but towards the right side of the belly. So it's just a little gentle compression in the right rib cage. And then breathe into that compression, a couple of deep breaths. And then we'll come to a half happy baby. So if it's available, you can reach to the inside of your knee or reach your arm inside of the right knee and see if you can grab on the outside of the right foot. If that's not quite available, just grab for the outside of the right calf or even the back of your right thigh. Just really wherever you can get a grip. Let the right arm become heavy. If your left leg is starting to kind of float up off the mat, just bend your knee and bring the sole of your foot to the floor so it's grounded. And then if you'd like, you can just stay here in stillness for a couple of breaths, letting gravity do the work, or you can kind of circle out the right foot a couple of times. Bend and straighten the leg, just take some movement. That feels natural, that feels good, whatever your body needs. And then we'll draw the right knee back into the chest and we'll come into a supine twist. So guiding the right knee to the left side of the body. You can extend your right arm out to the right. We'll be here for just a couple rounds of breath. And let your body get really heavy and come back to that lengthened exhalation. So 4 to 5 counts for the inhale breath. 6 to 7 counts for the exhale breath. Gently come back to center, knees into chest, circle it out, take a deep breath, maybe 2. And then extend your right leg long, left leg up towards the ceiling, interlacing your fingers behind the left thigh. Take a couple of rotations with the left ankle in one direction, and then the other. You can point and flex. And then we'll come into that wind removing pose. So bending the left knee, draw it in towards the left side of the rib cage and breathe a couple of deep breaths into the left ribs. Try to keep your right hip grounded. So really flex through the right foot, pressing out through the heel. And then that half happy baby variation, whatever that looks like on this side, grabbing for the outside edge of the left foot, the calf, or the thigh. Again, try to ground that left or right hip rather, and you can take that option of bending the knee and bringing your foot to the earth. And then either stay in stillness or explore some movement on this side. And then eventually draw left knee back into chest and come into your supine twist. Left knee to the right. Extend your left arm to the left, maybe gaze in that direction. Just let your body really relax into gravity. Gently unwind your twist, come back to center, knees into chest one final time, circles, rotations, and then go ahead and make your way to Shavasana, but feel free to use the support that you've got around you. So again, a bolster underneath your knees or along the length of your spine, a blanket over your belly or underneath your head, maybe over your feet. Yourself feel really supported, really held by the props, by the earth. And exhale your breath completely, empty out at the very bottom. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, filling all the way up to the top. And a big releasing breath out through your mouth. Just release any control over your breathing. Settle back into a natural breath, allowing the body to breathe itself. Allow your thoughts to just float into the background, blending with the background sounds. Just let all of the work go. Let yourself just simply be here. Receive the nourishment of your practice. Soak in the sweetness of this moment. Start to deepen your breathing. Allow your awareness to come back into your body. Just feel a shape that your body's resting in, and maybe even visualize your body as if you were looking down from above. And very mindfully and intentionally start to bring some soft movements into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And maybe take that full body stretch once again, reaching arms up and overhead, extending through the feet. And one final time, gather your knees in towards your chest, give yourself a big squeeze, a moment of gratitude for making it to your mat today to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. And then roll to either side, come to a fetal position, and a final moment here to pause. To begin again, fresh. In this moment that we have cultivated and created together. And start to make your way up to a comfortable seat. Take your time. And we'll close up our practice together today with a breath and an O. Sit up nice and tall through your spine. Gather your palms together in front of your heart for Anjali Mudra. And first, just empty out the breath. Exhale. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. And a breath in for Om. Bow your head sweetly towards your hands, bowing to yourself, to each other, and acknowledging your work. The light and the teacher within me honors and bows to that same light and teacher within each one of you. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, my name is April, and I normally teach after this class at 5:30, so I hope to see you again someday. Thanks. Have a great night. You're welcome.